How do I get set up, and is it easy to get set up? I have literally 2 brain cells, and I was able to get up and running in probably under 30 minutes. Knowing damn well I don't plan on having the same GPU for 10, 12, 15 years. The next one, I hate to talk about this because it's gross. It's just, I feel so dirty talking about it. This income is taxable, unfortunately, but it is good passive income. You're basically earning income with hardware that you already have. Alrighty, Stallions, so I'm not texting on the job. I have some notes here, some keynotes, so I don't miss anything. Obviously, nothing is scripted here on this channel, but I do want to make sure that I'm not missing anything, as there is a lot to cover when it comes to mining with a gaming PC, a desktop or a laptop, and I am going to refer specifically to laptops in a couple of sections in this video. So, jumping right into it, mining with your gaming PC is not a get-rich-quick scheme. You are not going to all of a sudden be quitting your day job because you're mining with one PC, with one laptop and one desktop. This is not a major mining operation with solar panels on the roof. If you're not mining with a bunch of ASICs or application-specific integrated circuits, or have a bunch of open-air mining racks with several GPUs because you're a scalper and you got your hands on a shitload of 3080s and 3090s that the average gamer will never get their hands on, if you're just using your one, or maybe you have 2 PCs, maybe you have a gaming laptop on the go and a desktop for home, and you're mining with those two, you are not all of a sudden going to be able to quit your job or anything like that, but it is good passive income. You're basically earning income with hardware that you already have. You don't have to go out and buy anything that you don't have. It's already a PC that you bought for gaming, video editing, music production, whatever it is that you do with your PC. And when you're not using it, which is probably about 14 hours out of the day while you're at school, work, or sleeping, fucking your girlfriend, whatever, you are able to, there goes the monetization on this video, you are able to put that bad boy on autopilot, Elon Musk, and put it to work for you. I mean, it's your PC. Put the sucker to work. And by doing so, depending on your graphics card, you'll probably earn anywhere between $100 and $400 a month after your electrical costs. Yes, I know that's a huge price spread. Spread them, boys. But we'll cover a little bit more about hash rates and stuff like that. Now, talking about mining, is it dangerous? Well, I made an entire video about that will be linked in the description below, going over is mining dangerous, but I'll cover it real quick. I'll basically massage the surface, not going to go too deep with it, but no, it is inherently not dangerous. No more dangerous than playing AAA titles or streaming with your graphics card. The only difference is the use time. Obviously, you're leaving it on for about 14 hours in succession, at which time you turn it off, and then you probably game with it for about 4 or 5 hours, and then put it right back on mining. So it is working 24 hours a day. What that is going to do is take a little bit of lifespan or longevity off the ass end of the card, off the back end of the card. And in my opinion, I would rather have peak performance, highest frames per second in game, highest hash rates up front, you know, running a small overclock and whatnot, knowing damn well I don't plan on having the same GPU for 10, 12, 15 years. So instead of a card lasting 15 years, it lasts 13 years. Or 11 years, that would be a severe degradation, or is that a real word? That would be the performance getting severely degraded. There have been tons of tests from major platforms going over the long-term damage of crypto mining, as mining isn't really new. It's been around since 2008. But there are a couple of things to keep in mind when it does come to, is mining dangerous? One, not all components are created equal. There's what's called the silicon lottery, which means that all silicon parts, printed circuit boards, chips, basically all the components of a GPU or CPU, which we're going to cover CPU mining in a little bit. You can just throw that one right out the window. Not all chips are created the same. Same thing with cell phones. I mean, you might have a phone that runs slightly better than your buddy's identical model of your phone. So it's something to keep in mind that your card might last 15 years of 24-hour mining, and your buddy might get one that only lasts 10 years of 24-hour mining. But what you can do, and should do, is do a slight undervolt and overclock on your card. So you're basically overclocking the video RAM and then undervolting to about 65-70% power output, which is going to keep your temperatures down. That is what is going to damage your card over the long term, is temperatures. Your core temperature of your GPU, and then also your memory temperature. Especially memory if you're mining Ethereum with something like the Dagger Hashimoto algorithm, which is coincidentally one of the most lucrative right now, and that's primarily what I target. But as long as you have a casual undervolt and overclock on your GPU, decent case cooling, which by the way, I am running, as you guys can see behind me here, and I'm sure you guys know if you've been around the channel for a while, I recently sold my custom PC for a pre-built Alienware R11, which is notoriously known as one of the pre-builts with the worst stock cooling. We did a couple of mods on this channel. If you do own this PC or plan on getting one to get your hands on a 3080 or 3090, I do have an entire playlist that will also be linked in the description description below, doing a bunch of out-of-the-box cooling mods to increase the cooling of the stock case or chassis, as Dell calls it, on an Alienware R9, 10, 11, or 12, as they are virtually identical. You might take a little life off the ass into your card, but premature catastrophic failures are incredibly rare, and in that case, it's most likely not due to mining. It was probably a flaw with the manufacturing of the card, which rolls me right into the next section. Manufacturers of GPUs have absolutely no way of telling that you have been mining with your card. Cards don't have any memory on them. Yeah, they have VRAM or video memory. That's not storage. That doesn't store any data. It's not going to be able to, they can't plug it into a diagnostic machine and be like, well, this has been mined. There is virtually no way of telling that whatsoever. Even if you're CPU mining, the only memory that CPUs have is called a memory cache, and it's a very, very small, like usually a few hundred megabytes. It's not going to hold any information about what applications you've ran on your PC or anything like that. So if your card does prematurely fail, it's a little bit premature, you, a little crink in my wrist, sorry about that, you are able to get another card, which is awesome. And speaking of profits, I'll get this right out of the way because this is a frequently asked question I get. How long does it take to get an ROI or return on investment on a 3080 and 3090? If we're talking about MSRP, $700 for the 3080, you're looking at about 4.5 months if you are mining with a nice hash quick miner the exact same way that I do. I've calculated it all out. That does not include taxes, which we will cover in a little bit, but say you don't pay taxes or we're just not including that, it will take you about 4.5 months to pay off your 3080. 3090, you're looking at about 5.5 months. That is a $1,500 card. Next up, we're going to talk a little bit about electrical costs, because when you're talking about profits, there's two things to take into consideration. Your mega hash, which is basically the horsepower, if you want to think of it, of your graphics card or CPU that you're using to mine, or ASIC if you're running one of those, and then your electrical costs, and those balance out, and that is your profits. Your profits are definitely going to outweigh your electrical costs. You'd have to have a pretty old low-end laptop or desktop to where your electrical costs are going to be more expensive than you're actually earning. Now, what I strongly recommend you guys get is an UPS or uninterruptible power supply. This is for a few reasons. One, for the purpose of mining, you actually are able to monitor how much your PC is actually drawing from the wall, and it will give you a historical calendar where you can look at each day while you were mining, under load, while you're just idle, letting your PC chill, how much fluctuation there is, so you can tell how much of a difference there is with power output when you are actually mining. And it also tells you some other cool factoids like carbon footprint, if you care about CO2 emissions that you're causing and stuff like that. And also another important factor is, since it is an UPS, if there is a power outage, instead of your PC just shutting down while it was mining, so your GPU's at 100% load and it just all of a sudden just shuts down on its face because the power's been cut off, that won't happen. There is software in place where even if you're at work or sleeping or something, it will slowly, pull up the task manager, shut down your PC softly, and your PC just thinks it went to sleep. It doesn't crash on its face. Or if there's a rolling brownout, as there is a lot here in Florida when there's electrical storms and whatnot, when you get a rolling brownout, we're not talking about the Urban Dictionary definition here, boys. You sick sickos.
You ever hear of a rolling brownout?
But when the power fluctuates a little bit, you might see your lights flicker in your house, but they don't cut off completely like a blackout. A lot of times, if you are mining because your PC is sucking so much juice from the wall, a rolling brownout's enough to completely drop your computer offline. But if you have your PC hooked up to an UPS, which also I have my modem and router hooked up with the actual Ethernet port plugged into that, I keep internet and power to my PC under a power outage for about 40 minutes, which is awesome. I will have the exact UPS that I have and have had for a long time linked in the description below. Also, they insure everything you have plugged into it for $500,000, which is probably a lot more than your gaming PC. So if there is anything damaged that is plugged into the UPS, even if it's during a surge or a storm, they will replace it. So you could probably cheese it and be like, well, I had a brand new 3090 with a 3080 backing it up, and just kind of hype up what you had. I don't know. That sounds like fraud, I know, but you could probably cheese that to get a little upgrade. How do I get set up, and is it easy to get set up? I have literally 2 brain cells, and I was able to get up and running in probably under 30 minutes, like from installing the program to getting benchmarked and up and running. So I do have an entire tutorial taking you guys step by step getting set up, going through the user interface of the program that I use, which in the next section here, we're gonna cover what programs to use, what's out there, what you should use, what you should not use. It is very, very easy to get set up. I do direct you guys to that video. It is in the description below. It is a full tutorial walkthrough helping you guys get set up. If you watch this video and you think, wow, this actually sounds like something I want to do, I'm stimulated, not from Kevin's beautiful caterpillar on his upper lip, but because this sounds enthralling. I want to earn a little passive income, take the old lady out on a date every Saturday. You know what I mean? Technically, at that point, you're not taking your girl out, your gaming PC is. So what program to run? There is a bunch of programs out there. I am going to be having a comparison of the 4 major ones in a future video. However, the one I have the most experience with that I have personally been using daily for the last 2.5 years is called NiceHash. Now, they were hacked in 2017. However, that has not occurred since then. They did pay back all money to users. And it seems like they kind of buffed up their cybersecurity a little bit. They had some vulnerabilities that they patched and whatnot. So it doesn't seem to be an issue. Again, that was 4 years ago now, and they seem to be solid. Like I said, I've only been on the platform for 2.5 years, so I never experienced any unsavoriness, which is good. I could understand why people might have a bitter taste in the back of their tonsils from being hacked or whatever. But use the Quick Miner, which is their new program. Do not use the Legacy Miner, which actually installs an application on your PC. Quick Miner still installs a software program, but it's not a full-fledged window that pops up. It is a minimized, basically in your Windows tray, little pop-up box, and it does most of its controls from the cloud, basically, on their website, and you have a lot more controllability of it. I can actually monitor my PC from my phone, change settings and stuff like that, see how much hash rate I have, my temperatures, and it's also a lot less resource intensive on your PC. Obviously, when I say resource intensive, I'm not talking about using your GPU, because that's still at maximum load because it's mining, but I mean as far as the software program, it's very, very minimal on your CPU. It's basically just a really easy to run light application, as they say. But it is a lot safer too, because the Quick Miner is literally one piece of software, one miner, if you will, called Excavator, which is built in-house by NiceHash, as compared to their legacy mining program, which was just called NiceHash Miner, that I had been using for like almost 2 years. And that bad boy used a lot of third-party plugins for other mining algorithms, depending on what coin you're targeting, like Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin, whatever, and then also different algorithms that work better with different GPUs and CPUs. I don't know what I'm doing here. And a lot of these third-party plugins are made from different sources that might not be the most reputable, and NiceHash literally says on their website that they have no way of validating who created the program. They just kind of include it in their suite of software. So use the Quick Miner. Next up, you will definitely want a Coinbase account. Coinbase by far is the largest platform for trading cryptocurrency in North America, Canada, and a lot of other regions of the world. Coinbase is pretty much the most trusted. They have some really good security features, including the vault, which is more or less, you can think of it like a hot storage wallet. It's not cold storage. It doesn't go completely offline. However, it does have two-factor authentication and a whole bunch of other features, which is definitely beneficial. And I definitely recommend getting Coinbase because it is fee-free to transfer your funds that you've mined, your BTC, which is what you get paid out in when you are mining in NiceHash. You take those directly over to Coinbase, at which time you have options. You can either day and swing trade that cryptocurrency to make even more crypto over there, or you can just put them in their vault for long-term storage, or you can sell them. Now, I will say if you are going to be storing it for the long term, what I recommend you do is get a hard wallet like the Ledger Nano S over here, which I have reviewed on this channel. That will also be linked in the description below. This thing is absolutely awesome. It's only about 45 bucks, which is awesome considering it can hold like 10 coins at a time, 10 different types of cryptocurrencies, and it is completely safe, virtually unhackable, because it is a offline cold storage hard wallet. That is a mouthful, definitely what she said. So if you're just gonna mine and hold on to this BTC for 10, 15, 20 years maybe, you know, you're investing in the long term, right? The long run. You definitely want a hard wallet. But if you want to take your profits from mining and then instantly sell them, you can do that on Coinbase. If you are going to do that, I do recommend getting Coinbase Pro, as you are able to get a lot less fees when it comes to there is zero transaction from nice hash to Coinbase, but when you go to sell that or convert it to legacy US dollars or Canadian money or schmeckles or shekels or buffalo nickels or whatever your currency is, Da Vinci Code ducats, whatever you use in your neck of the woods, you definitely want to make sure that you're using the premium Coinbase, as that has a lot less fees associated with it. But get a Coinbase account. Use my link in the description below if you don't already have a Coinbase account. As soon as you deposit or withdraw your first $100, which you probably will do if you're going to be investing in cryptocurrency, you get $10 and I get $10, which is great for all of us. Everyone wins. Everyone leaves sticky. The next one, I mentioned 2FA or two-factor authentication. Turn it on, not only for NiceHash, but also for Coinbase. And don't just use the SMS or text message version that is easily hackable, that is easily intruded. What you want to do is get an authenticator app like Google Authenticator that gives you a unique 6-digit code that refreshes every 60 seconds. And you have to have your device in order to basically type it in. So your regular word password and then a 6-digit code on your PC in order to get into your accounts, because like I said, NiceHash hasn't been hacked in 4 years, and to my knowledge, Coinbase never has, but they could, and there are people that might try and target you individually yourself, so just be careful. And if you want to be extra careful, use yourself a VPN, especially if you're doing some nefarious stuff like downloading retro game emulators, you nasty, skeevy schemers. I see you guys out there. If you are one of those guys, I have a link for a VPN down there as well. All right, the next one is to know when to mine and know when to use your PC. So again, we're not talking about you having a mining farm. This is probably your only PC. You're probably maybe share a laptop with your spouse or something like that. You guys still need to be able to use your PC. This is passive income. This is a little extra pocket change. You're not going to get rich off this, like I mentioned with my first point. So please use your gaming PC. Game with it, stream with it, video edit with it, music production, CAD, computer-aided design, whatever you're passionate about doing with your PC, even general productivity work. Don't ever get in that mining zone where you feel guilty because every minute that you're not running your mining software, you're losing out on profits. Trust me, you're still going to be able to mine 14 to 16 hours of the day that you're sleeping or busy with other things. And that's like 2/3 of the profit you would be making, obviously, if you were mining 24 hours a day. So please just use your gaming PC. Oh, and I do have a link to a full rant video about that exact topic, linked in the description below as well. The next one, your profits will fluctuate with two factors. What you are mining, so right now Ethereum is very hot when it comes to mining on the Dagger Hashimoto algorithm, but as that moves around, you will see your hash rate fluctuate. And then also, you get paid out in BTC or Bitcoin, which is also fluctuating a ton right now too. So keep in mind that your hash rate from day to day and even further, hour to hour, will fluctuate as it is very, very volatile. Cryptocurrency in general, but especially mining. So just keep in mind, don't panic if you see your hash rate all over the place. Now, if it's a huge deviation, you might want to check your hardware to make sure that you're good on your end, but just keep in mind what you're actually mining and getting paid in, that will fluctuate. The next one, I hate to talk about this because it's gross. It's just, I feel so dirty talking about it. This income is taxable, unfortunately. So I'm going to have a future video going extremely in depth with taxation of cryptocurrency mining as well as trading cryptocurrency. Basically, an all-in-one 101 tax free-for-all crash course video. But I will just cover the nitty-gritty squeeze-a-titty facts right now. I want you guys to set aside about 30% of what you make from mining and put it aside. Granted, that is a very high percentage. You probably won't pay that. You'll probably pay about 15% or so, and I'll explain exactly why. You're not paying short capital gains taxes on this because cryptocurrency is not deemed a commodity like that. They actually consider it real property, like what real estate is, which is ridiculous. I know there's a specific tax code for cryptocurrency, and when you do get taxed on cryptocurrency, is not from mining. You're not getting taxed when you're mining. You get taxed when you go to actually sell your currency for legacy paper money or US dollars or whatever your currency is. When you go to sell that in Coinbase or whatever platform brokerage you use and make that physical tangible money, that is when that money is capital gains. And it's not capital gains taxes you're paying though. It's another tax code and it is considered real property. But all you need to know is the easiest way to know exactly what to pay is if you use TurboTax to file your taxes, which I've used for like 6 years now. It's stupid easy. They actually integrate with Coinbase to where you can log into your Coinbase account and it'll look at your entire transactions and be like, okay, you owe this much. And it pulls it out automatically, claims it when you file. So that's really cool. But just keep that in mind that this is taxable. A lot of people don't realize that. Like even like, YouTube earnings from Google AdSense and like Amazon affiliate links and stuff like that. All that is taxable. It's income. It's taxable income. The next one, laptops are not great for mining. Even if you have a laptop that has a 3080 in it or a 3070 in it, it is not going to have the same hash rate. It is not going to have the same profitability as a desktop. Why is that? Because of the thermals. They're small. They cannot dissipate heat well. Not to mention a lot of those cards are what's called the low profile version, which generally has maybe one less fan or a shorter fan and a heat sink on it. It's a different card, a slightly modified version of the 3080 or 3070 to fit inside of a laptop because it's fucking small. That's what she said, unfortunately. And yeah, so it's going to get hot. It's going to throttle a ton. You're not going to be able to hit the same hash rate. Just something to keep in mind if you are mining on a laptop. Technically, you can even mine with a phone. There are scripts you can run to mine with your phone. Granted, the hash rate's so low, it's definitely not even worth it. Speaking of not worth it, CPU mining, totally not worth it, and I will explain why. When you are mining with your PC, it takes 100% of the power from it. So it's using 100% of your GPU to mine. So you cannot game AAA video games or anything like that while you're mining. That's why I say just stop your miner when you're getting ready to play your game. While I am mining on this PC right here, I can still watch YouTube videos. I can still do general productivity work. I can have multiple tabs open. I can be writing a paper, even doing some light gaming. Like I could play an older title from the 90s or something like that. Maybe some retro emulation, no problem. No AAA games or streaming, but when you're CPU mining, that's your processor. That's your central processor unit. So that handles everything. So when it is mining, it's using 100% of its load. So it's confused. You start trying to do things on it and literally just pulling open like 2 tabs with YouTube on it. It's going to be all running all janky. And literally you will only make about $20 a month with CPU mining. And that is with a flagship like i9 Intel or the AMD Ryzen 5950X. So like the high-end big boys CPU side. So it doesn't earn you very much money and it makes your PC virtually unusable. So don't CPU mine. It's not worth it. The only caveat to that would be if you have a dedicated mining rig, a separate PC that's only for mining and you want to absolutely maximize profits on that, that extra 20 bucks is fine because you're not using that CPU for anything. That's its dedicated purpose is to crypto mine. So if you have an open rack, a chassis with some graphics cards and a CPU in there, go ahead and mine with that. But that's not what we're talking about with this entire video. We're talking about your gaming PC, your laptop, your desktop, probably your only PC, your daily driver. You don't want a CPU mine with it. Have a plan for mining. So what are your goals? What are you trying to get from mining? Obviously, Kevin, I'm trying to make some money. What are you, a numbskull and a numbnut? Yes and yes. But no, seriously, you should have a goal for mining. Are you trying to hold this cryptocurrency that you earn for the long term? Are you trying to invest in cryptocurrency? Are you trying to trade some of the currency that you get? Or are you just trying to take your earnings every month and cash them out immediately and put them in your bank, direct deposit them? Nothing wrong with either of those, but you should know this because that can let you plan ahead for things like taxes and also to plan on how much you want to mine and what you want to mine. Now, granted, if you're using NiceHash, it basically selects the algorithm and selects the coin that you're going to be mining. It basically picks the most profitable for you depending on your hardware. So it's like, this is your CPU. Okay, cool. This is your GPU. You live in North America. This is your kilowatt hour cost for electrical. This is the most profitable algorithm in coin. Ethereum Dagger Hashimoto, most likely, 99% of the time. And it'll mine that automatically. It's just good to know what you want to do with this coin. Obviously, make money. That's the goal here. You know, get paid, get laid in the shade with some lemonade. I get it. Spitting bars over here, as the kids say. But yeah, just have a plan for mining. What are you trying to get from this? And speaking of having a plan, when it is time for you to upgrade your GPU, say you got a raise at work and you're ready to upgrade your gaming PC, that is a good time to do some weighing of the pros and cons. Should you sell your GPU on eBay or to a friend for 400 bucks or something? Or do you want to keep it and keep mining with that? Maybe have 2 GPUs in your next computer case or something. And that is when you are going to look at, okay, how much money can I get for selling this card right now? And how much does this thing earn me a month? Like how many months would it take me to earn what I would get in a lump sum from just selling my GPU. So that all ties in with having a plan with your mining. All right, we are at the very end here. We got 2 more, but they're big ones, ladies. They are thick boys, girthy, veiny ragers. Do research and ask questions. So you have Google Academy and you have YouTube University, and I've been a student of both for many, many semesters. I don't pay for my textbooks. I don't pay for my tuition. It's free, and there's literally, like, you can learn anything on these 2 platforms. And if you have a specific PC, you're trying to learn to mine a specific coin, I guarantee you there's a tutorial out there, or message me directly. I have no life, I have no wife. I made sure of that. So I will make sure to answer your guys' questions, as I'm here for you. Literally, that sounds like a weird flex, but I literally enjoy reading your guys' comments, and I like to answer your guys' questions. Granted, I get a lot of them, and I'm only one guy, one dude, one ball, but I will do my best to answer your questions. I'll just stay up one night, pound coffee until I can hear my hair follicles growing, and answer as many questions as I possibly can. And the last one, and this is probably the biggest takeaway from this entire one, subscribe to put an extra 7 mega hash on your gaming rig. Just kidding, but seriously, you know, make that red subscribe button gray, and that will make sure you are notified when my newest videos come out, as I do a ton of content like this around crypto mining, specifically for gamers. This is a gaming channel, but a lot of gamers also mine because we have GPUs that can make a hurtin' for a squirtin' on your wallet. Didn't make a lot of sense, but it'll make your wallet thicker than a Snicker and just as sweet. So that is what we want, boys. And I will do my best to keep up to date with everything related with cryptocurrency mining and to come out with videos timely and promptly for you guys. I know this video ran rather long. Hopefully the timestamps help you guys to navigate a little bit, or you can just watch the entire video, as it is entirely beneficial. The whole thing start to finish, tip to tit, so to speak. If you enjoyed the video, liking it helps it to get seen by more people, so this information can reach and help them as well, which in turn helps me grow this little channel, and I definitely do appreciate that, guys. Subscribe for more content like this around cryptocurrency and gaming, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.